Hello, thanks for joining us for this predictions video. We're going to preview the upcoming game against Hull. So a big game coming up isn't it, for QPR? You know, been on a bad run recently, no wins in 4 if we're counting the FA Cup game against Peterborough, back-to-back defeats in the league. Hull presents a very winnable game for QPR, you know, 20th in the league. They've sort of picked up a bit from where they were earlier in the season when they looked kind of destined for relegation, and they're sort of quite comfortably clear of the relegation zone, but very much still down there. And I don't think they've won in the last 4 either, so they're not coming into it in great form. And obviously Rangers won comfortably there earlier in the year as well. Kev, Mark Woburn's got a few dilemmas, I think, not just because of the bad run that they've been on. And, you know, there's always, when you go on a bad run, there's people calling for changes and there's a debate around that, but also some enforced stuff. You know, Rob Dickey's now suspended for 2 games, so he's going to miss Hull and then obviously Blackpool after that. Lee Wallace potentially, he's going to get assessed, but he could potentially be out. Obviously went off against Millwall with a groin injury. What would you like to see him do here to kind of counteract those, or to deal with those enforced changes, but also maybe other ones as well? What do you think he should do?
Well, Sanderson will come in for Dickey. I think that's pretty much nailed on.
Yeah.
Wallace, look, if you come off with a groin, it's going to be very hard for him to 3-4 days later, you know what I mean, to go and play against Hull on Saturday. So I can't, unless it's not, but if you come off, you don't really play on the Saturday with a muscle injury. So McCallum's coming back. How fit is he? He's been out for a while. Or you play Moses on the left side again. I don't think it. I think it's a good enforced change. I think because he can freshen it up a little bit. I think the manager will be calm about this thing and just think we've got a blip. But I do think he will put a bit more energy in the team. But I wouldn't say it's going to be wholesale changes at all. I think the enforced changes, that's 2. So I would expect another maybe 1 or 2 changes. Maybe Charlie Austin's to start up front. And I wouldn't be surprised if Amos comes in just for a little bit more mobility and running and energy in the midfield. But,
who do you think Amos for? Like Johansson, maybe? I mean, he's coming for a bit of stick, hasn't he, Johansson, recently? Like, what have you made of him? Do you think Amos potentially replace him, or?
He could do it. I mean, I really rate Stefan Johansson. I think he's been a really good signing. He's very composed on the ball, and when he's playing well, QPR usually play well. What we said last week about managers sometimes horses for courses, and I don't really know much about Hull, but if they have a high energy midfield, he might think I'll have to put Amos in there. So I don't really know much about him, but I think the manager, I think after what he said to Ian in the interview about these players have done really well this season. We've had a couple of bad results. You know, everyone just settled down a little bit. We can all listen, and I'm in the crowd as well, and you're hearing stuff and you're like, and you start agreeing, and then you're like, hold on a minute, these players have actually really done well. Let's just calm it down a bit. So I don't think it'd be too big of a changes.
Yeah, I mean, you said Austin there. You think take Dykes out, Austin up front on his own, put Austin and Dykes. What?
You know, sometimes it's like when you're a striker and you're not playing particularly well. You know what? Sometimes when you come off and you sit on the bench, and the other striker sort of batters the other centre halves, and then the manager says, "Oh, we've got 20 minutes," and you're like, "I've got 20 minutes now. I'll put 90 minutes into 20 minutes." Fair play to the other striker. He's just like softened them up for me. And I can come. Honestly, that's sort of the mentality you get if you're playing as a striker and you're on the bench. You're like thinking, hope he runs and backs in and batters the centre halves and gives them a hard game. Then I'm coming on fresh, and I can take advantage of this. So, you know, maybe I don't know. I don't really know much about Hull, so obviously the manager and the staff and the analysts know their weaknesses and their strong points. But at the end of the day, I still believe that QPR are a better team than Hull, and the table shows that. We've got better players, and I expect us to win.
By how many?
I think it's going to be 1-0 QPR.
Solid. Ian, what do you think about this one? What kind of changes would you like to see, if any, and what is your kind of thoughts on your prediction?
Yeah, I think Dykes, to be fair to him, has been pretty good when he's come off the bench this season. There's been numerous games where he's come on and made a made an impact. So he might go back there. I mean, Charlie struggled against Peterborough in the cup. He's been taken out the firing line. Maybe it's a chance to, put him back in the team. Don Ball's not been seen for a while, but he was very good against Hull early in the season when they went up there, and him, Johansson, really sort of dominated in midfield in that game. So that, that kind of energetic sort of midfield is what they need. They got that. I mean, Amos can come in and do that. Perhaps Ball can come back in the team. I like Johansson in the team. I think you need your senior players in games like this. I would keep him, but I mean, the midfield they played against Reading, when they're very, very good against Reading as a team. All of them played very well. It was Amos, Field, and Johansson. That's what they need to get back to, that kind of energy and pressing, and winning the ball, and giving it to Willock and let him working his magic. So, I mean, that's what they need to get back to. If they do that, they can win this game. Hull have quite a decent record at QPR. They do tend to kind of pick up points when they're down here. It's a game Rangers have to win, I think, just to kind of settle everyone down. I think they will win. I think it'll be 2-0. Yeah, 2-0.
Absolutely. I think if QPR lose this, there will be a lot of, there's a bit of panic going around already, isn't there? But I think there'll be a lot more. And I think that will be more justified then. I think you lose to Hull at home, another struggling team after losing to, obviously Millwall aren't too bad, but Barnsley are right down there as well. You would have to look at it and think, is there something wrong? But I'm backing QPR to win this one as well. I do think they'll come back and I do think they'll win. But I wouldn't mind seeing Andre Gray play. I know he's like, we spoke before, he's kind of better away from home, like when you, I guess, more counter-attacking, more that sort of thing. But I just think it'd be quite a nice alternative to have someone that kind of runs in behind. You said a little while ago, Kev, that Dykes, or in our last video, that Dykes kind of hasn't done that enough really. I wouldn't, maybe like going with Gray and Austin might be quite good, just to take Dykes out and then, like say, bring him on for the last sort of 20 minutes if they need him. That might be a nice change. But I agree with you, Ian, as well. I think Johansson should stay in the team. I know he's been kind of below par recently, and he's not been as good. But I think when he's on it, he's the best midfielder they've got. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Johansson and kind of Field keep their place in the team, and that be the midfield. And I think Sanderson and Odebajo as well probably come in if Wallace looks like he's not going to be fit for the game. Be a good opportunity to see Sanderson as well, see what he can do. So I'm going to go 2-1 QPR. I think Hull will score, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. I don't want to jinx it, but we have all predicted wins for Barnsley, and we also all predicted wins for Peterborough. So let's see. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that Keane Lewis pot of a Hull, he's a good little player.
Yeah,
He's decent. He is. But
they
haven't really got much else aside from him.
Yeah. I mean, they've obviously had a lot of change as well, haven't they? They've got a new manager in, new owners, stuff like that. So trying to implement their own take on the team. So I think it'd be an interesting game. But I'm saying 2-1. But thanks for watching. Please let us know your predictions in the comments below, and leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we'll be back again next week with more videos. Thanks.